Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from sharEvery. I am Coach Rambabu, host of Rendezvous with Rambabu educational podcast. I'm immense happy to meet you again with well-experienced guest today. Already I had episode before with the same guest on the concept how a non-native speaker give a tone like a native. We had a beautiful conversation in that episode. If you want to watch again, I'll give that episode link in the description. Please watch and give your comments. Now, I'd like to welcome for today's episode number 36 on this Rendezvous with Rambabu educational podcast with a beautiful and very useful concept, the vision board journey. Yes, this is the dream to create their vision boards. We are going to discuss or talk about the definition, purpose of the vision board, components which we should use while creating the vision board, and benefits, finally, types of vision boards. Before diving into the main interview, I would like to request all the viewers. You have been giving a fantastic support through this podcast. We're expecting the same amount of love and contribution for supporting, for inviting such phenomenal guests like today's guest, Coach Sandra Walks from Canada. If my videos or educational sessions should reach out, you must be the subscriber of this particular channel. So don't miss to subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you so much. And now, this is time to invite our guest of honor for this particular podcast number 36 on the concept, the journey of vision board. Let's dive into know more about our guest. Thank you, Coach Sandra Walks, ma'am. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from sharEvery. We really love to know more about you and your journey. Please.
Thank you. I am Coach Sandra, compassionate queen of straight talk from Canada. And I've had, as you can tell, many decades of wonderful living. I'm curious. I'm always in awe of everything I can learn. And coming to sharEvery has been really a lovely journey. To be reaching out across the world, can you believe it? Canada to India. And here we are working together, collaborating. It is a beautiful thing. You have put so much work and effort and organization into the whole of sharEvery that you're really reaching out. And I believe you said you're in how many countries? 60 countries or more now. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens because you and your team are really coordinating and making a big effort to educate the world in English. So that's beautiful. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Now, thank you, ma'am, for your very short and sweet introduction. We really feel very happy to know about you and your services. Really, sharEvery has been empowering people like you. Thank you. And now I would like to request you again before the main interview, if I ask you to keep a small capsule to talk about all your experience with sharEvery for a minute, how it would be. Could you please give a short note about sharEvery in your words?
I think I just did that, but we'll see. You'll be clipping this part out. Isn't internet wonderful? We kind of freeze up here and there. So bless you, because you're going to do a lot of clipping on this one.
Yes.
The freezing comes on and off. But I really, with sharEvery, you and I met on Facebook, I do believe, maybe LinkedIn or both, in 21.
Yes.
And I believe that sharEvery started up in 20.
Yes,
when
exactly.
COVID came and shut us all down. And in 20, I was in Uganda when it was declared, when the pandemic was declared. And all of us that really wanted to keep living ran into Zoom. And all of a sudden, we were connected across the world. You found me in 21. I was your first native speaking English supporter.
Yes.
And you were also going and off talking really fast, and I couldn't catch everything you were saying. And you had these wonderful broad shoulders because I'm the straight talk queen. And I would say, Rambabu, slow down. I don't know what you said. Say it this way. And you never let me go. Instead of throwing me off the bus, you said, you stay. And both of our lives have transformed. You've been transforming a lot of lives with the education that sharEvery Global Foundation brings, not only to adults, but particularly to children as well. And when I see some of your classes, and you've got all kinds of them, you're going all week, I think, when I see the children just blossoming, and English is important. I mean, it's not that we're special, but important because it's pretty well all over the world. And so for advancement, for getting ahead in this world, English is a big extra plus. And you're providing that to people that just can't afford it any other way in India. And those who can, they're welcome to come aboard. You can come aboard as a paid member, or if you don't have any money, you can come on free. You're going to get your education in India in English. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, really, for your love and support for making or to become a blossom this kind of visionary foundations or platforms. Really, it's much needed. Thank you so much. And my dear viewers, hope you have got to know about our guest and the companionship and friendship with our foundation, sharEvery Global Foundation, since 21. Really, I feel very happy to say all the time she is my mentor, first mentor as a native speaker. And as she mentioned, a very fast talker at the time. I learned many things, and during this interview I would like to share many experience what are there between both of us. And my dear viewers, please fasten your seat belts. We are going to dive into the main interview with this first question, and hope Coach Sandra walks for the first question.
Go for it. What's your question?
Yes, thank you. Now, the first question is, what inspired you to create a vision board, and also, and do you hope to achieve with this vision board your goals?
I started vision boards many years ago, possibly decades ago. I can't remember when it started because the idea of a vision board, I think it was just labeled. I think we always did them. When we were little children and we had our piece of paper and we drew our pictures, that was a vision board. That was the dreams that were coming out. That was what we were seeing coming out of us and into a colored picture on the piece of paper. If we weren't using coloring books, with somebody else's lines, if we were just drawing our own picture, we were seeing that vision in our head and putting it over on paper. So that's the first thing I feel about a vision board. It's something we have done forever. And we, in our current decades, have put a name on it and said, oh, you see something, create it. And when you see it and create it, it's going to happen. Well, the reason it's going to happen, because all that's true. If you worry about it as a vision, what's my vision? My goodness, I don't know what my vision is. I don't know how to get a vision. Think about it as a dream board. We know how to dream. So I would say a vision board is just our dream board. So daydream and imagine, what is it you would like to be doing? How would you like to be? Where would you like to be? What is your dream life? Now, the other thing I think that happens for me is that when I look at my life, I don't look at it just in pieces. Of course, out of our life, we have our health to look after, our wealth, how are we going to make money and live? Mm-hmm. We have our relationships to concern ourselves and our career. So we have 4 main areas in everyone's life. But our whole life, we put ourselves in the center. And we've been taught that that is selfish. Well, it's not selfish. If we don't put ourselves at the center of our life, we can't create a life that's ours. If I put Rambabu at the center of my vision board, then it's all about Rambabu. That's not me. Rambabu has to put himself in the center of his vision board. Sandra puts herself in the center of the vision board. So I would say that no matter what it is, you get your piece of paper. Here I've got a flip chart. I've got a large piece of paper, and I'll show you a little bit about what I've done in my own life. But I like having my vision board big and on my door. So when I'm sitting in my easy chair, I can see it. And I go through it, and I think how it started. It's a wonderful memory board then as well, isn't it?
And the name.
Another name. Because as you're creating it now, based on what you would like and remembering what you were. So it is your life. And you can have several of them. I don't have a lot of them. But I know that as I look at mine that got very busy, my friend who's very organized and an artist, she said, well, it's very messy. I would have that all organized. Well, that's not me. So if you're really organized, fill your boots, have fun with it. I like the randomness. I like the curiosity. I like the wonder of letting it happen. And that to me is a vision board or a dream board because you let it happen.
Yes.
You want to organize something later, you're going to organize different areas for progress. What do I want to learn? Well, within my career, I want to learn this because here is my vision, here is my dream. So to move towards it. So it becomes an area where you can decide, that's what I want, that's how I want to be. And because you're dreaming it and living it and holding that vision, you start taking those steps to move towards it.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't start saying, well, I'll do this. And then when I get the money, I'll do that and that. No. You have to be yourself first. And you have to know who you are. That's why you put yourself at the center of the dream board so that you can dream. And then as you dream, who you are being is what's going to show up. Who are you today? You're not going to change in the future. If you're depressed and selfish and greedy and angry, just because you get money, ain't going to change any. You'll just be depressed and angry in the future with money. What's the difference in that? No, you want to be the person you want to be and let that person do the dreaming and create the vision.
Yes.
And from there, you'll have a board and you will automatically move in little steps towards what you want to. The word is manifest, what you want to have happen. You can create.
Yes. Thank you. Really. And as I know, and after listening your answer for my first question in this episode, and vision board is the best tool to focus on your goal, to give a good clarity about your goal and also manifest your goal in appropriate way. And I really feel very happy by knowing these two names. Vision board is, it want to be your dream board. And if you want to make your dream board as your memory board and just live with it. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much for your beautiful answer. My dear viewers, if you want to make your dream as your memory, and don't skip for watching the whole episode till the end, then you're going to bag many more takeaways through this episode. Thank you so much. Now, my following interesting question is, can you share your own experience with the vision board, where vision board helped to reach your goal?
I think what I'm going to do here just very briefly, and I do have my magic marker here, I'll show the board later in the workshopy area of the process. But really, what's happening is that you put yourself at the center of the board. And it can be happy Sandra, or it can be a big heart Sandra. Now, when I made my vision board years ago, many years ago, and I still have the same one, I added to it, and you'll get to see it later. I knew that if I just close my eyes and think back to when was I happy? 5 years ago, what was I doing when I was happy? 5 years before that, what was I doing when I was happy? 5 years. I went back 5 years and I could see myself in an instant. What was I doing when I was feeling happy? That's a good guide for you, because what I'm doing every time when I think back to when I'm being happy, it won't matter whether I'm at work or play, even sometimes if I'm in tears and crying because I'm hurting. What am I doing? And here's what I was doing. I was singing. Music is all that matters to me. Whenever I'm happy, I'm humming, I'm singing. That's how I know that's who Sandra is. I'm singing, I'm humming, even in my head, even while we're doing this today. I can feel the flow of music in me. I was on stage when I was 5 years old singing. Jesus loves me, this I know. Right on up until last week, I was singing as this old granny, somewhere over the at the political party. Music is my life. Nothing happens in my life. So when you discover, that's where you start your vision board. What is the start? What is your life? When are you happy and what are you doing? And I had given my music up at one time, and I was in a deep depression. And when I did some healing work, because that's what I do now, I've done so much healing work over the years that as the Straight Talk coach, I help people also do their healing work. When I had done some of this work, what had happened, I had given up my music because I was always waiting, needing somebody to play the music for me. I didn't play an instrument. And so I didn't sing. And I went into grief, just as if somebody had died. Well, my music had died. And I went into depression. That's why, knowing that, this is what saves my life. And so at that point with the healing, they said, well, why are you waiting for somebody to play for you? And I asked myself the same thing. So I often today sing a cappella without music. I hear the music in my head anyhow. You just heard me. Somewhere over the rainbow, I can hear them. I went into grief, just as if somebody had died. Well, my music had died, and I went into depression. That's why, knowing that, this is what saves my life. And so at that point with the healing, they said, well, why are you waiting for somebody to play for you? And I asked myself the same thing. So I often today sing a cappella without music. I hear the music in my head anyhow. You just heard me. Somewhere over the rainbow, I can hear the music going, you see. Mm-hmm. And that freed me to sing all my life. And I don't wait for anybody who can play a piece of music.
Okay. And my another, it's really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing your what you do. When you are happy, you just hum because you are a beautiful singer. Thank you. Because I listen your singing style and I listen your fantastic tone. Really very beautiful. Now, and when you are sad, what you do and how these vision boards, which already designed are prepared, and how these vision boards make you happy, or how these vision boards help you to come out so easy into the normal from that particular grief.
I think that's really important, because as we work through, the sadness is often a grief is lost. Somebody dies, you lost them, they're gone, and you're very sad. So we think when somebody dies, that's the only time we have grief. It isn't. We have grief every time there's a change. We have grief if we're hurting. So we go into that hurting. What is that hurting? We don't have to live there. But what was it? And we see ourselves. What was the situation? What was happening? There's our story of sadness. I can think most recently of my son dying 7 years ago. You'll find as I get into my actual vision board that years later, 7 years ago, I added this because that was my son, the butterfly, going to heaven, and I was lifting him up. That's how important it is to have meaning in what goes in your vision board. You can see here, there's a lot of memories in there because it's been done for so long. But you'll find at the center of it all, at the center of my entire life, is music. I was going to sing at my son's funeral, and he said, no, I will sing at my own funeral. Yes, so he had his CDs. He had made a CD. He was a musician as well, and he sang. So they literally played his own music at his own funeral.
It's interesting. Yeah,
really. But that is, it is, because that is probably the biggest grief anyone can have, is to have a child die.
Yes.
He wasn't a little child, doesn't matter. He
Yes.
died when he was 43, and that means my grandsons have no father growing up with them. So it's grief when somebody dies. But I'm going to tell you, when I gave up my music because I was waiting for somebody else, I was waiting for somebody else to play an instrument so I could sing my song. That's grief. And that same grief is put me just as sick as any other somebody dying.
Yes.
Okay, so understand that grief and sadness, there's a reason for it. So when you say, well, when you've been unhappy, how has this helped? When I was unhappy, so now I can do the same thing. Okay, 5 years, what am I unhappy about now? What am I holding? What's it about? What's my story I'm making around it? Because we all make stories. We explain ourselves. That's a story. So if I'm feeling sad right now, I get down a little bit and I say, my coaching practice, people need me all over the world. I'm not big enough yet. I'm not, knock yourself down. You can stop and say, oh, what's about it? I don't put that, or I put my new story, because we make our new story. And when we get to working on this, here's my new story. This young man here recognizes what a wonderful speaker and trainer I am, and he's applauding me. I have a big audience. So that's my dream on my vision board. And I'm moving towards it all the time. Here I am in India. Can you imagine? Right? Yes. So you'll see how that comes together. So you don't record the sad stuff. You understand the sad stuff, turn it into, well, that's a sad thing. What am I going to do about it? I'm going to get out there and speak. I'm going to visit India. I'm going to be a speaker over there. I am a global citizen.
Yes. Do you give the same importance for both happy incidents or unhappy incidents to keeping on the vision board?
I don't keep the unhappy stuff on the vision board.
Okay.
No.
The reason?
Because why would you want to be having that as your daydream? This is your daydream. This is how can I be sad tomorrow? Let's put that on the vision board. No. We don't want to do it. We want to understand on a note paper. Write down what were you sad about, or how were you feeling, or just when you're daydreaming yourself. If you're feeling bad, what's that about? 5 years ago when I was feeling bad, what was that about? 5 years before that. So what you do is you look at mostly why you've been hurting. And sometimes it's because you don't have anybody, you don't feel love. Usually that's the base, because no matter how our parents try, we want more love. And we'll find it goes back. So if it's love we're looking for, we have to find that way. How am I going to feel loved? Then I'm going to go out and mix with people. I'm going to be feeling my worth, So we do the work on it and change the story. And so what we put on the dream board is the joy stuff, right? Here is my dream. Woo! I've got the world in my hand, sitting on a rainbow. And here they are praising me.
Top, you are lifting your son.
And up here, yes, I'm lifting my son because he's gone up to heaven. And here's a giraffe, because it's such a long neck. And it came up in one of my healing sessions one time. And I said, and she says, yeah, I see a giraffe. And I said, I love giraffes, but I've only seen one in the zoo maybe or something, but I just love a giraffe. And she said, that's because when you think, you're thinking up high, and this is connecting you to your spirit and the little antennae and so on. So when I came across a picture of a giraffe, I cut it out and put it there because it's connecting up into heaven. So I don't put the sad stuff on here. If I wanted sad stuff, I would look at this feather. The feather came from prison. One of the inmates said, Sandra, you've changed my life so much. And he's Indigenous, and the feather is extremely important to him. And it was his feather. He said, I want you to have the feather. And I've got a second one in there from someone else, but the bigger one is from an inmate. Now, I can say that's sad because they're locked up, but really, it's what I'm doing in the world. I'm changing lives in the world. And so that's a celebration that I'm sending my gifts up into the heavens, out to the world. So isn't that beautiful? So I don't have anything sad on here. I take whatever was sad and go and find it. So this corner down in here, in here where the heart is my love and relationship corner. And it just happened that way because love supports me. So it just came naturally. If you daydream, it will come. So that the dreams are up in the heavens here. All the travel I wanted to do and that I did do. This Chinese thing about opportunity and disaster all being in one. When I came across it, I hadn't been to China, but I always loved it, and I cut it out and put it there. And lo and behold, didn't I go to China for a trip? It's in my mind. I've been to India. It's beautiful. So my dreams up now here, I've got a boomerang. I don't know if you can see the boomerang. Well, I haven't been to, let me see, where is my boomerang? Here. I don't know if I got it up close enough. Can you?
Yes.
Yeah. So the boomerang. Well, I've not been to Australia, and I'm not really worried about going to Australia. But the boomerang was there. And what did that mean to me? That was in my daydreaming. My boomerang won't come back. My boomerang won't come back. So but a boomerang, you throw a boomerang out and it comes back if you threw it right. And that reminds me, if I put my dreams out there, they're going to get fulfilled. They're going to come to me. So the boomerang had a different feeling, but it was all up here in the heavens, in my dreams.
Okay. So unhappy things we shouldn't keep on the vision board. So as your response and the reasons also you have mentioned and your experience also you have mentioned and how you do when you are happy and how do you when you are unhappy. And really we mostly see you or find you as happy person mostly. And when you are as a guest on the sessions, when you are a role player on the sessions, we wouldn't find you as unhappy at all. So I think
You know what that is?
Mhm.
Choices. If there's anything you get out of any of this, it's that we have a choice of what's going to happen in our head. And knowing myself, I love being on stage. I love it. I'm a performer, I'm a soloist, and knowing that about myself, that means immediately that I'm with people, I'm up. You're not going to see me down because people turn me on. So it's a choice. I'm not going to come in here and mope and say, you got to get my hair cut. I'm looking a little moppy today and my hair is not the right way. I'm not. Why did I do that? Why did I come here and do that? That's a choice. Well, it is what it is. Okay. Got a fun curl here, and it needs some trimming here, but here I am, because this is the show we're doing today.
Yes.
So I'm going to be here today. I live in the now.
Yes.
Where in the past, when I would have my unhappy times, I kept looking for somebody else to fix things for me. I kept looking for somebody else to approve. I kept looking outside. And when all of the choice and the love was inside. And
Yes.
I've done the work, and I continue to help people do their work piece by piece, digging out the pain from inside, transforming it into opportunities.
Yes. There is freezing, I think. Yes. Just a moment. Yes.
A little bit, so I don't quite
Yeah,
just said.
little bit freeze. Yes, coach. And I heard by Nick once I read, most of the people, they concentrate what they don't have. They concentrate what they don't have, but they never concentrate what they have. As you
That's
mentioned,
right.
why we want to worry about anything what we don't have right now with us? It's better to concentrate to multiply what we have, whether talent or something else. So it's correct.
That's right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Another interesting question. It's a similar question from my end in this conversation. You have shared your own experiences, how a vision board help you when you are happy or when you are unhappy. You have given your own experience. But I'm asking, have you ever heard about your neighbors or colleagues or family members, how the vision board helps that particular people for reaching their goals? Can you give any testimony by sharing someone else's goal, how they reach?
I sure can. Because my dream board, my vision board is all of my life, then if I live my fullest life, I will be out with people. I'll be out with community.
Exactly.
So once again, if I live my fullest life, here is my love area. I can't have a love area, a relationship area, without family and community. I go out into the community and I sing. I've sung since I was 5, serving others. I go out into the community. I volunteer. I go to prison, which was, the feather came from prison. But when you're reaching out, when you know who you are, here I am in the center of my board with my music running through. That was the first thing that ever went on my board. And when I am in my fullness with my music and my singing and going out sharing with people, I'm changing their lives just by being me. In fact, the biggest gift I have been bringing in the last decade or 2 decades, maybe 3 decades, is being myself, so that people are free to say, Sandra, how did you have the nerve to put pink in your hair? Well, it's fun and it makes people laugh. So I'm happy, they're happy. And when I don't have it, I just don't feel as springy. So that's how I make myself happy. And it goes out. And then others have, I wish I had the nerve. Well, you do. Just put it in and then it's done. No, they don't necessarily do it, but it gives them the freedom to do it if they choose. So living your own full life is going to help all of your community and the world, because now I've got the world on a string. I'm sitting on a rainbow, and here I am being cheered on by Rambabu and all of your listeners. When I go out speaking, I have audiences that love to hear me speak. So that's my joy, but it's changing the world. And when I travel all over the world, which has grown out of here, I'm changing lives in Uganda. I was in Uganda. I'm a mom to an Ethiopian family for the last 20 years that I helped bring here. When I get older and grayer and need to be somewhere, I'll be living with them. Have I changed the world just being me? Yeah.
Yes.
You got to dream.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for your beautiful answer. Now, and I want to ask my personal thing. I think you and I have been traveling over, I think, 3 years. This is fourth year. And mostly we use your vision board kind of many things, but vision board is nothing but a visual presentation. Whenever we use right now, we have many digital vision boards like planners for teaching in the school or many things, and how we can create our own vision boards with the cheaper stuff, or how we can use this useless stuff for creating the vision board. As you are the well experienced creator of vision board, as a dream board as well as the memory board, and where we want to give importance to the stuff, or and how the stuff we can utilize for making the vision board to fulfill our goals or to become success, how we can correlate the stuff as well as the goal.
I think likely, and I was a school teacher 50 years ago. I did teach school, so I understand. That was in the time that we had scissors and paper and tape. I've got tape. I didn't bring my scissors over here, but I've got markers and a pointer. I've got the physical stuff here. And the paper, because this is just I'm big on paper. You're on digital for a lot of things. And I think in this digital world, we've gotten so clever, we've gotten past ourselves. So you've got a formal class to teach on vision boards. That's going to sound very stuffy if you just teach it as a course. If you know it as a teacher so well that it'll just be similar to what we're doing here. If it's just part of who you are, have you as a teacher actually created your own vision board? Have you got your own dream board? Is it there? That's been mine, started there, but this has been probably 20 years in the making. I don't know. It just keeps growing, and I'll show you my newer one that I haven't really expanded too much because it's in the seed location, seed notion. But if a teacher really knows, I've been in the financial world for 40 years as well, and it's been said over and over, if you can't take something that's complicated, knowing yourself. Now, if you're going to create it, and for me, being on the Zoom is great, but on the digital, creating something on digital just doesn't cut it for me. I like the feel of paper in my hand. All of this stuff has been pictures I've gotten out of travel magazines or advertisement magazines, and they're quite often off the covers, usually off the covers. Sometimes, like this picture of mine, this yellow thing was a yellow plastic, and I don't know what I had it from, but I just liked it when I had it. I liked the feel of it. I set it aside and saved it. And lo and behold, when I thought, oh, yellow is I'm a sunshine gal, and that yellow. So then I went on and had a picture of myself, that's from a few years ago, that I cut out and stuck on there. So there I am. Okay. And some of these pictures down in here in the love scene, Those are out of magazines, and other ones are pictures of me. I've got my girlfriend down in here, and I've got a DJ with my common law. Those are photographs that I've actually printed out from the computer. So I've actually used it to print out some pictures, cut them out, and stuck them in. So he was alive. He's dead now. We DJ'd. So it's a picture of him and I out doing our DJ music. He was the DJ with the singer. I was the singer. But, you know, it's become a memory. My friend Pauline, she's passed away now as well. So it becomes my memory. I've always loved turtles. So when I was in Hawaii, there was a little sticker. So that's a, pull-off sticker I bought when I was down there for my 25 cents or dollar, whatever it was. But that was my memory, and I came home and put it. And I love hot air balloons, and I love Mary Poppins. So when I came across something with Mary Poppins here, the hot air balloon, I put that on.
I think the story is there behind each and every dot on the vision board.
Yep.
Every dot has a special story, and a sticker, a dot, a line, everything.
And down this side, here's a little Santa Claus snowman. I mean, I love snowman and Christmas. I'm a Christmas baby. So when I came across that, it was fun to put it on. And I've got where's my tree? Oh, yes, it's not very clear. There's a tree here that I've got. Trees are very important to me because it goes into the root and the foundation of who we are, and the branches go up into the heavens and all our dreams.
It's a great lesson.
Yes, so you're right. Everything that's on there is on there on purpose. I didn't just sit and make it all in one day. You can do that as a class, have a bunch of pictures ready and make one just to have the experience. But your real one is going to be the one that grows with you.
Creating the vision board.
Lesson.
Yes.
Yeah. Do the lesson, but it's just a lesson.
Yes. Creating the vision board is the natural rather than drawing something or designing any graphic is artificial, as you mentioned. And you have mentioned you worked as a teacher some years ago. And do teachers also recommend the students in the class for creating vision boards?
It's beautiful. I don't know that I knew about them as a vision board at that time, but I always had the children dreaming about something. Some of my art classes, I'm not very good at art. I'm very creative, but to draw something, back to the stick people. But I remember I used to have my little grade 3 classes. They would be the 8, 9-year-olds. And we would literally at art class time, if it was a nice sunny day, talk about how to draw a tree. Well, your lines are going to go the way the tree grows. So you don't draw a tree this way, your line goes up. So very elementary, very rudimentary little art lesson. And, and they said, well, what about a car? Well, if you have a car, the line is this way. So you look at the outside line and you have the wheels and you have to put them in, so we talked about that kind of thing. And then I said, okay, so go outside. So they went outside wherever they wanted to. And you can sit, you can do what you want. You find something you want to draw. It might be a tree. It might be one young lad. I mean, they came in with beautiful pictures because they drew the trees. They were dreaming. They were just letting it happen. And one young lad came in with a photograph, a sketch, a pencil sketch of a motorcycle looking straight on with the wheel just off a little bit to the side. There's a lot in there, and he did a beautiful job. Amazing. So let the children play. Another time I sent them out at the beginning of the class, and I said, okay, you're just going to lay down in the grass and look at the sky and find a cloud, and you're going to draw the cloud. And then you're going to look and see what do you see in the cloud, and you're going to put those lines in. So that's daydreaming. And they came out with the wonderful things that you see. Now, even though it was an art class and very simple because I'm not into drawing, I'm not good at it, but you don't have to be good to dream. So they saw the cloud and then they saw some strong lines and they married them. Oh, that looks like, and pretty soon they were dreaming of what that, you and I would see something different in the very same cloud.
Yes.
So I think even when I was teaching 50 years ago, that I was ahead of my time. And I was letting the children almost, but I don't know if you're familiar with Montessori over there in India or not, but Montessori schools are experiential. That's what I grew up in because I had a little one-room country school with all 8 grades, 29 people in 8 grades. That was it. 2 of us went through our class together. So we did everything experiential. I think we had the model of a Montessori school that I grew up with. And when I went to teach school, even though I had the curriculum laid out and the protocols, my approach was this experiential approach that was natural for me. And that's what I hope is coming back. So if you teachers create your own real dream board, you can teach it, but they need to know that when they create the real one, it will grow over time and it'll be a dream board.
Yes, I think it's beyond the board, beyond
Oh,
just
way
a
beyond.
board. Very
Way
beyond.
beyond.
Yes,
You
yes,
think about who you are being when I'm speaking to people who I'm being, and I be that now. See, it's already made a change. I've already manifested a change because of the dream. And who's this little country girl with not a lot of money running all over the world? Because I don't go on vacation to see if I can be at an all-inclusive retreat and be waited on. No, I'm out there for adventure and travel. I go for travel. So when I come to India, it'll be one of your bedrooms.
So when are you planning again to India?
I don't know. But I know when I went to Uganda, I was with a refugee family and I lived in their home and they had a bed for me. That was all that mattered. And I lived with
Yeah,
them. I
make plan, please.
I
Make
didn't go
plan.
off to any hotel. What's a hotel for? I can be, no,
No
I
need
like
to
to be
go
with
any
family.
hotel. You can stay with me and my family.
Yeah,
Then
and there's
you,
quite a few people there I can get around and visit as well. So yeah,
yes, yes.
that to me is travel. And that's what this has done for me. I can go anywhere and I can go on a shoestring. I don't have to, I have to get my ticket.
Yes, come and join to India, and definitely you and I we will make a many real vision boards. So many.
Memories and memories.
Yes. And my next question is, Sandra ma'am, see, can any give or share their experience? I have been following, or I'm very rigid or very strict for reaching my target or my goal. Even I created many vision boards. I followed all the steps, but I was failed. So I have been doing a lot in the perfect way, but I'm not able to reach any goal or even a little. So
I
have anybody
disagree with you
shared?
right
Have
there.
you?
I disagree with you right there.
Uh-huh.
Because what's happening is you're creating your vision board and saying, I'm not reaching any goals. So you're taking it away with your
Uh-huh.
language, the
Uh-huh.
words that you're using. Of course, you know you're moving towards your goals. Look at where sharEvery started and where you are today. So change your language. Of course you have. So
Yes.
that's where you're going into the negative and the sad. You don't want that on here. You've got your vision board. You maybe want little vision boards for little goals as you go along. But your life vision board's going to take the one that just stays up on the wall and you keep adding to it as something comes along, as a dream. But of course, you had a dream for India to have English and you started from zero. So don't tell me you haven't reached your goals. Every time we reach the little goal, we get there and say, oh, well, we can't sit here. I think I need to go further. I can't just sit here being Sandra. I want to see what's on the other side of the world. My dad used to say he didn't need to travel there and see it because he sees it in the pictures. But when my dad didn't know that when you actually go and experience it and be there, there's a whole different emotional feeling to it. And that's what this has done. So I ended up in India. It was a fabulous trip. And I rode the elephants and I rode the camels. I was in Peru and the little monkey fell out of the ceiling into my arms and just snuggled in. That's the real stuff.
How many
And
days you were in India in your trip?
I think.
3 weeks.
Yep. And Peru is 3 weeks, I do believe, as well. I don't like, and Uganda turned out to be 5 weeks because of COVID. I ended up an extra week there. But when I go, if I'm going to travel that far, I want to go for a month if I can. I don't want to go just to say, I mean, some people say, oh, well, I was in England because I landed in Heathrow while I changed airplanes. That ain't being in England. That's in the airport. I was in Dubai because I changed planes in Dubai. Like, give me a break. But I would suggest that you listen to your language. And that's another thing you teach. Because if your vision board is saying, oh, I make it and then I never achieve it, yeah, that's baloney. Of course you've achieved. If you made a vision board for SGF and you made your plans, you established it. And then you made another vision board from there and established it. So this is my life vision board, but you can do the little daydream just on sharEvery, because once you arrive, now you're bigger. Now what's next? Well, where are you going? Out into the community, out into your dreams. So don't ever say you haven't reached your goals.
There is no space for negativity. There is no space for unhappy on vision board.
No, change it.
Yes.
And it's a choice that you make with your choice of words.
Yes.
So you always reach your goals. Isn't that much better than I never reach my goals? You're never going to reach your goals.
Really?
Because once we reach, okay, so you say, I am going to be thrilled when I have a triple cone ice cream, 3 scoops from Robin Baskin's, and I have that in Canada. Okay? So you come to Canada and you get your triple scooper ice cream and you go home and reach that goal. There's nothing else. Well, of course there's something else, because now there's a new goal because you've done that one. So you're never going to reach all your goals, because once you arrive somewhere, you did it. Now what am I going to do? Crap, I want to go there. So we're always putting out new goals. So if you ever reach your goal, you're dying because you're not stretching. So the stretching is what's natural. So you've always reached your goals. You're a school teacher. You've got your degrees. You've got a family. You've got your home. You've got sharEvery is growing. Now it's growing some more. You've just kept having new goals out there. Why would you ever want to reach that final goal? That's when you're going to be dead, and that wasn't much of a goal.
Thank you so much. Yes. And my last question before the workshop in today's episode. See, and vision board is the best tool for keeping focus or knowing more clarity about your vision or a goal. And for manifesting, this vision board tool is the best tool. And my question is, how do vision boards help with manifestation? Is there any scientific approach behind it?
I would say it's yours, first off. Scientific approach is just that if we start to engage our brain can do things. If we take charge of our brain is just a tool. It is not who we are. Our heart runs us. So you live with your heart, you think with your brain. So this is a thinking thing. And how many thoughts go through our head all the time? So then we have to start putting those thoughts. We take charge of our thoughts. That's all scientific, and I don't have the terms for it. But all the little neural pathways and so on are in there. We know that the brain is working, and if we control it, we can move. In terms of if you look at your sharEvery and anybody else looks at that one goal that they have, because sharEvery is just one part of your life. So if you had it in here, sharEvery would be your community work, if you will.
Yes.
Okay. But you've got your love life, which is your family. All of that stuff is here. Each one of those could have its own little vision board. So you could have your master one, which is this one. But when you come to the little separate one, you're going to do the same thing. So for sharEvery, what you have done is had sharEvery in the center. Okay, not Rambabu. Yes. Now you're planning for sharEvery. So now sharEvery is in the center. And then you go out from there with your dreams.
Yes.
And that's in your planning. You're very organized. I'm very messy. I'm not messy when it comes to choosing your words, because that's where I come in. I'm all about communication. I'm not good on technology. It's not where, if I get in there, it just gets me so frustrated because I want to be talking to people. I don't want to figure out how a piece of computer works. But this is going to be your separate little vision board. If you were looking for a certain way that you want to have with your family, your heart, your family would go in the center, and your family vision board would be developed where all of your family, so you get a big board and all of your family creates, here we are as a family unit. What do we want happening?
Yes.
That help, because this is just my master life one. But when I come down to how do I get to reach out and call marketing, how do I market out to people? That's its own little planned goal sheet, right? So you could call a vision board, a dream board, a memory board, or a goal board. There's your other word for it. It's a goal board. So every little thing you want to do can have its own little board. Yes. And it will grow. And when it's full, like that one's kind of full. I haven't added anything to that one for a long time. I think my son and the feather. But my current one that I'm working on for Coach Sandra, there is Coach Sandra in the center because it's Coach Sandra because and to think and grow rich. And I think who's supporting me here? I've got my son who passed away and my daughter who's still here and my grandchildren. That's the support. That's why I can do what I do. But I'm Coach Sandra. So that's my new board. And I'll be talking about that in the workshop where it
Yes.
narrows down. But when we do the individual goals, such as your sharEvery Global Foundation, then it's just the foundation and you have your team working with you from that center.
Yes.
Your
Thank
family works with you for family.
Yes. Thank you so much for your such a great experience you have shared about the introduction of vision board and how vision boards help in our day-to-day life and how we want to create the vision board and how we can make a part and parcel in our daily life the vision boards when we are happy, when we are unhappy, how we can make it balance. So everything we have mentioned very clear, my dear viewers. Now the part is going to be more interesting than this conversation. She's going to do a workshop and she's going to create her own vision board by taking the theme something even I don't know what would be the center point in her creating a vision board. So even I'm curious. So yes, just be ready to dive into the episode 2 and we will come back again. Thank you.